We're back.
Back.
How was your week?
It was good. It was good. But there's so many craziness happening when it gets around to the summertime that it's like, it never stops. So I really get excited about summer when the kids are about to get off, because I feel like I'm going to get off work. And it doesn't work that way. It just seems like we've been running around everywhere. Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel like I don't even know what day it is because of how crazy
That's the worst part of
last
summer.
week was, and like leading up to last week, and now I'm like, I don't even like, I'm so tired that I go into bed even earlier than 8:30.
Go into bed at 7. Every time I try to reach out to you, I know if I message you after 8 o'clock, I usually know that I'm not going to hear anything
Till 5 in the morning.
till like in the morning. Yeah. But you had a super busy week.
Mm-hmm.
Like your son graduated, and you had family.
Yep.
And well, we know how that goes when there's family. It's just like a lot of different things.
Yes, indeed. That's
So tell
exactly
us,
right.
how did it go?
It went really
Did you
well.
cry?
I didn't. Like, I was so excited, and I was more focused on being able to make sure I could cheer loud than cry.
Yeah.
And so I was like
You were
waiting, I'm like, here it
prepared.
comes, here it comes. And then I was just like screaming so loud. But the whole week went so smooth, and it was such a blessing, like having all my like both of my sisters came, my nephews, my niece, of course my mom, another one of my nieces came, and I had 6 extra people in the house. So there was 10 of us total in the house.
And you had people staying at an Airbnb, so you had a lot of people in from out of town.
Yes, my best friend came.
Oh, wow. Your best friend, huh?
And it really was, it was amazing. So, but yeah, I do still feel a little bit tired.
I feel like it was good for you. You look so bright and beautiful today.
It's probably because I crimped my hair today.
It makes you look so
like,
youthful,
when I was
like
doing it,
back
I was
in
like,
the 80s.
Are you too old to do a hair crimper? And I thought, whatever, is like a beachy wave.
It is a beachy wave. Like,
Do you think it looks like age appropriate?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It looks like summer appropriate. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Like, I
please.
like it.
Yeah, I really was like, because you have to like do it
Yeah.
so hard, but
And in your peak, it looks very fresh.
okay,
Yeah.
good, thanks.
I'm embracing pink more as I get older. I feel like after I met my husband, I've had more of an opportunity to just, I don't know, be more feminine. I feel like I was never really feminine. I was
interesting.
feminine, but I wanted to be bold and independent and, strong and all these things. So, and it just seemed like pink was frivolous. Isn't it weird?
Yeah, that is, but I think that's amazing that he makes you feel secure enough to where you don't have to carry that burden of being
Absolutely.
too girly or too feminine
Yeah.
looking, that you can embrace it now.
Absolutely.
I've always not cared. I love being a girl. I am a girly girl.
Well, after you told us of your 5-year stint of perfectionism, doing hair, like, I get why you're so perfect all the time. Yeah.
Even with this crimping iron.
Even with your crimping iron. Well, with that being said,
Yes.
actually, I did have something from this week that I wanted to share. So we went furniture shopping this past week, and I gotta tell you, I was like super disappointed in so many different things, but nothing more than, and I don't know if we're supposed to say names of stores or whatnot, but we'll say the Design Center Without Reach. Have you seen that store?
No.
It's the store of the Domain, and we went, and we weren't supposed to go there. We just picked out a bunch of stores that we were gonna go take a look at, and one of them was, I don't even remember what we were there to see. I wanted to go see the Tommy Bahama, or in the Domain, which I knew I wasn't gonna buy anything. It looks nice, but it's not really necessarily my style. But then Josh had thought, well, there's this place, it looks really nice. It's on one of the corners, and it's called Design Without Reach. That's not what it's called. It's called Design Within Reach. So we walk in, right, and we've been shopping everywhere. We went to Furniture Row, we went to living spaces in Austin, which have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
I like Furniture Row.
I do
Like,
too.
I feel like their quality is, it's affordable, you know, like they're real prices, but they're actually really good quality. I bought a lot of stuff from them, but for the couch that we wanted was too small from one side and then too big. Like, there was only a one type of sectional. You couldn't change it. It wasn't modular. So we decided to look for something similar at other places, and we ended up going to this store because it was one of the only stores that wasn't closing at 6. So we went in there, and mind you, we just been at Furniture Row and some other places, and we show up and there's this small sectional, like really small, and you could probably fit 3 people, and then you had a chase, so 4 people all together. And we sit on it. I was like, oh, that's comfortable. And thinking there's probably a bigger version of this. So the sales guy comes over and we're like, oh, so how much is this? Let's just get that out of the way. I am a big believer of just tell me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to spend 30 minutes sitting here and pretending like we can afford it.
Yeah.
Like that 4-seater sectional, which was really just a couch with a chase, $14,000.
How comfortable was it? Like a mattress?
No, it was like every other couch. It wasn't, I mean,
Well,
they would replace it for life. Do you want a couch for life?
That's what I was just gonna say,
No.
because sometimes it's like people think of furniture of like, I'm keeping that, like it better last me. It's like, well, how dang long do
Oh,
you
that's
need it
not
to
the
last?
end of it. That is not even the end of it. So as soon as he said that, I was like, yeah, I don't think this is in our price point. My husband's very, like, he is very sophisticated and won't say those things. I just flat out said, listen, this is not in our price point. Like, I think we just need to get going. And the guy's like, well, what price point are you looking for? It's a couch. We have 2 kids about to become teenagers, you know? We said we're probably looking at about $5,000, which I think is a really good quality couch.
Yep.
Really reasonable price. I mean, it's high, but at the same time, the last couch I bought at $5,000, I had for 12 years. And it's leather. And I sold it for half of that.
Dang.
I know. But the point to that is, you know, like, so he's like, oh, my husband's at 4,000. And, he was like shooting lower so we could just leave.
Yeah.
But the guy's like,
He's
no,
all
wait,
about to.
I got something for you.
What was it?
I got something for you. So he takes us around and shows us this like leather futon with armrest about this wide, guys.
Jeez.
This wide. I don't know where you can see it, but they were this wide, and it was gray leather, and the back was flat. So the only leather that was plush was the seat. It was hilarious.
You get this much leather,
and you can
that's
fit
it.
like 2 people.
It's a love seat.
It's a love seat. And then we're like, my husband's like, oh, well, how much is this? He's like, it's a little over the 4,000 budget. You're looking at like a 5,000. I just kept walking. I couldn't even think of the word that it was when he showed us this couch for a $5,000 budget that I just kept walking, and my daughter is like, oh.
If she
But
gets quiet.
I was
it's not good.
trying to leave, and I couldn't even think of the word. I was offended that you would even show me that.
Yeah, it's
You know,
insulting.
It is
Yeah.
insulting.
Like he should have said, "Hey guys, sorry I couldn't find what you were
Exactly.
looking for, but it was nice meeting you."
Or take a look if you wanted to find out what the prices of anything else.
Yeah.
Let me know.
For sure.
But to take me to something that is $5,000 for 2 people, like when we just told you this couch wasn't big enough, it was so insulting. I was so angry. So then we go from there. And mind you, my husband loves Restoration Hardware. Like, he loves it. He thinks it's a beautiful store. He likes their design. It's simplistic, it's minimalistic, whatever. They all look the same, you know. So we go there, and then we ask how much the couches were, and I've been there, and I'm not a fan of those prices. But after going to this store, I was like, we'll take
This is
2. The couch was like
We can do
$3
the whole
grand.
house.
I was like, let's do 2 of them. It was ridiculous, but it was like my mentality was here to here, and it is ridiculous. I was so angry.
How did you
We did
guys
not
end
buy anything there.
up-
No,
Nothing anywhere.
no. We ended up buying a couch
Oh, good.
somewhere else. Actually, we asked for reviews, like some word of mouth on Facebook, which I believe word of mouth is 100% the best
agree.
thing you could find.
Yeah.
And somebody suggested Macy's, and I went from living to Sign with Outreach to Restoration Hardware to Macy's, and it was like this mental shift I had to redo. And
that reminds me truly when you're showing homes.
It is,
because it's like you can, if you don't know what your people are looking for and qualified for, you can take them to a home that they absolutely fall in love with and they can't afford it, and then to walk them back to reality is tough, and that happens to us everywhere we go.
And it's not an easy mental shift.
No.
I told my husband, I love this couch, but I need a moment to readjust my expectations because we went from this ridiculousness to, wow, this is so affordable. And it wasn't. Like, Restoration Hardware is beautiful, but it's not necessarily cheap and by any means. So it was just, that was my most annoying story of the week.
That's tough.
So we got a great couch from Macy's.
Good.
It's huge. It won't be here until August.
So you're still sitting on the floor in lounge chairs and stuff?
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, I think that sounds like you had a couple's win, a couple's experience.
He did. My husband fed me pizza.
What kind?
Oh, Pint Brewery. Have you been to Pint Brewery? Oh my gosh. Pint Brewery, they have it in Austin and in Round Rock. Like, the crust will melt in your mouth.
I love crust.
Crust is my favorite.
Me too.
Josh eats a pizza and I eat
No, I love because I love bread, and so I love dipping it in ranch.
That's probably why we're best friends.
It is. That's exactly why, because we're both pigs, and we love to eat everything.
It's true.
We're like, give me the most fattening, carb-filling thing, and
I love it. And when I get really hangry, whether if I'm at home or at a restaurant, I will order one of everything. And Josh is like, okay. He doesn't say anything. He'll order a smaller version of whatever he's eating so he can eat the rest of my food, because I'm not going to finish all of it.
Yep.
But you let me get to this point.
Exactly. Now I'm hungry, and now I'm going to eat. Exactly. Where are we at?
So I think, with that being said, we just changed it. If you guys didn't notice, we changed up a whole lot of stuff. Normally we would be going through real estate stuff, but today we just kind of went into the week, and we're considering doing a change.
Yes, and the change is going to be just working moms.
Working moms, because we don't want to. So I was having a conversation with a couple people, and they gave us some feedback.
I love that. That's excellent.
And they said, she said, I like your podcast, but the second time I tried to listen to it, essentially we went into the real estate aspect first. And she's like, I don't want to learn about real estate. The podcast is fun. It sounds great, but like, I feel like it's about real estate.
Yeah.
And while we are real estate related, I feel like we don't really touch bases, but because it's so early on the podcast, people are not able to decide if that's what it is or something else.
Yeah, I get it. And our goal was never just that. It was, in fact, it was just because that's what we do. But our goal is to be relatable and share life.
We can't ever leave real estate. If we leave the name, we're just going to be real estate forever.
I'm over here working.
Grandma's in real estate.
Old ladies.
Not retired grandmas in real estate.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are going to be changing the name, and it's just going to be Working Moms, and essentially is to make sure that everyone that is a mom or wants to be a mom or has a mom or, all of the above was a mom.
Yeah.
All of them are included.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what makes life fun.
For sure.
We were just talking about being included, which kind of leads us to our next topic.
Which is?
Let's do mom wins. I want to hear yours because I feel like you just had such a great week.
I feel like my mom win for the week was I'm a planner. I like to make, actually what I kept hearing myself as the week was going on is that I was being, I think, is it a Martha? Was Martha the one that didn't want to slow down, and Mary was the one worshiping Jesus and cleaning his feet? I kept thinking, you need to slow down and spend time with everyone that's here, but I like things so perfect, and I want my family to feel like they're on vacation and that they can relax and that they can enjoy my home. So I was really a busy bee the whole time, but at the end of the day, it all was so great. And I think the win was truly, I feel like the win was my kids stepping up like crazy and helping me get everything ready and supporting me and like every day, Mom, do you need help? Do you need this? And I think the win is that I've raised 3 really great
so great.
Mm-hmm.
So I think going through, this is such a busy time for graduations and, you know, kids graduating from college, high school, everything. And the one thing that I always see parents, you know, put these big message and congratulations to their kids. And I always think that was a joint effort. Like everything is not done in a vacuum. You know, it is statistically proven that kids that have support from their parents just do better in life, but also in education and in almost every different aspect. So whenever I see those, I'm like, yes, good job. You know, it's amazing you graduated. But at the same time, good job, parents. Like, good job,
yeah,
you know,
Snoop
because
Dogg,
that's...
there's a little thing on Instagram.
I
right
am
now
just
that
as cool as Snoop Dogg.
And he said at the end, he's like, and I, you know, want to thank me.
I want to thank me.
I never gave up on you, kid. I was there supporting you. I was up all night.
That's
I was
right,
pushing you to do better. And I was like, that's great. But it is.
Yeah,
it
it's
indeed
true.
is a group effort, and for sure on the parents and even grandparents and friends and
It's a
aunts and
village,
uncles. Like
yeah.
everybody was there,
Yeah.
always supporting the kid that graduated,
Yeah.
and I'm sure we'll continue to be there to support him in his next
Absolutely.
journey. But I agree with you.
Yeah.
But it's like, it was funny too listening to some of the speeches because they're like, we've made it through really hard times, and my friend Anita was like, shoot, they don't know anything about hard times. And it's true, because
Yeah.
it's like, kids, now this is when life starts.
This is it,
Really,
guys.
you're
Yeah.
protected all the way through school, and then once you turn 18 and graduate, like, you're hitting the real world no matter what, if it's college first or work,
Whether
whatever
you want
it is.
it or not.
That's like when
Yeah.
life really starts and you start experiencing real trouble and
Yeah,
heartache.
you don't have parents to buffer real life, and that's so true. So, with that being said, yes, congratulations to all of our high school, college, and all the graduates from everywhere.
This year, 2025, was the biggest graduating class in America ever. Literally,
Really?
the most graduates in history.
You know what that means?
Kids are cheating.
That more parents were having more babies, 18 years ago?
Or, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe in 2006.
When everybody thought the world was going to end and it didn't, so they're like, yay, let's
Let's
have
just
babies.
have tons of kids. I was thinking, I was like, maybe, I feel like schools have gotten better though. Teachers have gotten better about pushing kids, and I feel like they've made it more fun, and it's not so much writing papers as it's like typing stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe kids are having more fun in pushing through high school. I
Yeah.
don't know. Gloria did cheat her way through real estate college, and that's why I said that.
Speaking of, I just want to put it out there.
I want to throw Gloria under the bus for something she's never done. I'm sorry. You
Real
can cut that out.
estate was not easy. Like
No,
but because
it
it's a lot of
wasn't.
memorization. I don't memorize things. Like I need to know them.
I do.
I'm just kidding.
I do.
And you did so good.
I did. That's probably why, because I do.
Yeah.
I have a photogenic memory, and so I just had to like take that practice test over,
Yeah.
and then you memorize it. You were probably like analytical. I need to really know this.
I
And I'm like,
didn't
I just
study.
need to pass the test. That's it. I just really need to get here and get this.
I didn't study the first time. So you passed
Oh.
with your real estate exam the first time, right?
Mhm.
I didn't study the first time because I just felt like I've
Mhm.
never had to. I
Mm-hmm.
always would just take information and just retain it. But then I didn't pass. So I didn't pass the state one because it has a smaller margin. But I took it again because surely, I mean, if I studied a day or so, I'd be fine. Nope. I didn't really study that hard apparently. So I took the real estate exam 3 times.
Third time was the charm.
Third time literally was the charm.
And I was scared because I think you took it before me, right?
Mhm.
And I knew how smart you were. And so I was like, if Gloria failed, I'm going to be screwed. And thank goodness I wasn't.
Yeah. I don't think it's that hard. I think it's a lot of memorization because you really don't use much of what you learn in real estate school. A lot of it is hands-on and learning and training.
Okay. So we're going to talk about like beauty tips, and I think that I'm going to talk about my new crimper because it's new. I used it one other time and I was kind of embarrassed about it, and then this morning I went for it again and still kind of felt the same. But I think it's fun to try new things as women, and I've always been one to try different things.
Absolutely. You have to with your cosmetology background. Yeah.
And I still am unsure about this look, but I'm not hating it.
I like it.
And it takes like 2 seconds to do.
Yeah.
So it's quicker than
Can I
a
borrow
curler.
it?
Yeah, I'll bring it next time and I'll do it on you. But I crimped my hair, you know, when I was a kid, and the worst part was when you crimp your bangs.
Yeah, that is so cringy.
It was.
No pun intended.
That's what I felt like. I was like, and then all the way to work, I was like, my hair smells a little bit burned, but that's okay. It'll settle down. But I loved that. I mean, is anyone else using anything new, hot tools and stuff? But I really loved it, and it did save more time than using a curling iron.
Yeah. I have seen other stuff, but I'm always surprised how they even make it to market. Like I've seen the wet, dry curling iron. Like that's so terrible for you. But that's been around for a long time.
Seen the one you like put your whole hair in there and it's like,
oh, I have.
And like I feel like that's like a spike haircut on its way, because how do you even get it out? Like tangled in there.
Yeah.
Have you used that?
I haven't used it, no, but it's not supposed to. I don't know. I've never used it. No.
Gloria needs coffee.
I think I do need coffee. I think I should have had. I had Starbucks sandwich, but no coffee.
That's why I was like, I'm waiting to eat because I think after a full belly and then it gets later in the day, I get tired. I'm like,
we need to do it so early, and every time that we say this, it's like something comes up. I had a client appointment this morning, so I couldn't get out of bed.
It's kind of good because people are seeing real life. Does anyone else get tired after they eat grilled cheese?
It's not grilled cheese.
She's a kid.
It's a mozzarella and sun-dried tomato. Okay,
it sounds
so
good.
totally grown up.
I love sun-dried tomatoes.
Well, I want to get to the juicy part of our show today, the topic, and we are right on time.
Perfect.
Yeah. So if you would like to stick around for the topic, you're welcome to hang out because it's gonna be juicy.
Juicy.
Like gossip.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, all right. So, yeah, our topic today is gossip, and maybe just talking about like gossip.
Can we gossip?
I don't think it's nice to gossip. I really don't.
So juicy.
It is, but when I hear gossip, I'll get a stomach ache. And mostly because it's like, I want to hear something that you're talking about in your life that you tell me. I don't want to hear about what's going on in your life from somebody that we know. I just think that's not nice.
We're matching.
I know, I loved it when I started watching.
Nobody can gossip about us.
Well,
you were saying that you, for the gossip
that I learned. Yeah, I learned not to gossip when I was a hairstylist, because you see women all day long, and if I start gossiping to these clients about their friends, what their friends told me going on in their lives, no one's coming back. You know, you can't be trusted. And so, you know, if you're sharing something that was a personal thing that happened to you, do you think that's gossip? If I call you and I say, hey Gloria, so-and-so did this to me, is that gossip?
That's not gossip. So to me, anything that is gossip is, like, I think you described it perfectly. So it's something that is happening in somebody else's life that is not directly related to you.
Yeah.
So anything that you have no part in, they just told you about it, that's gossip. If you're telling me about how you're being dragged through something because of whatever stories are being said, personally affects you,
Right.
you know, and I want to know about it so I can beat them up.
Yes.
Yes.
I've never been in a fist fight, but I will fight for Gloria.
Same for you.
Well, and so how do you handle it if someone calls you and says something about somebody else?
You
do
know
you
what?
engage or do you?
I don't know. Excuse me. I guess I have been in those situations, but most of the time I don't know people. I'll say something like, yeah, that does, or I'll say something that is, whether I agree with it or not agree with it. But if I don't, especially if I don't know them, it's hard for me to really go along with something when I don't really know them.
Yeah.
Now, if I know them, that's a little bit more challenging. I'm a very loyal person, and I think, and that's probably why I don't go around with a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And I think to that extent, I don't know. It's a hard question. I think there's only one person that pretty much knows everybody's dirt.
God.
You know, God. The only person that I probably share more is my husband.
Yeah.
And, you know, but I think that's very normal. And it's not, and it's also, it needs to be appropriate, even in that sense.
Right.
You know, when you were married, it was the same thing. Like, you want to share something, but if it's inappropriate where it's going to put your husband in a situation,
Right.
even that's inappropriate.
For sure. And sometimes, you know, because sometimes your girlfriends confide in you and they don't want your husband to know.
Yeah,
and not that
absolutely.
it's something horrible, but sometimes it's a woman issue and you don't
And
want everybody to
But
know.
you don't want to share that with your husband either anyway,
Yeah.
right? Like, there's some things that you wouldn't want anybody to know, especially when it becomes like intimate things. So yeah, I agree with you.
And I like what you were saying. So, like, do you have a small group of people you can trust, or do you cast your net wide and have tons of friends to allow other people in to have a front row seat into the intimate details of your life, or do you keep that circle small?
You know, I used to think I had a lot of friends, but you don't really know who your friends are until, and it's not the big events that bring out your friends. It's the small times when you're having those really challenging moments that you know who your friends are, right? When somebody passes away, you're going to have a ton of people that are there for you. But it's when the people around you can reach out and say, I could tell there was something wrong with you the other day.
Right.
Do you want to have coffee? And I think those really matter. So I don't have a lot of people in right now that I can say, but that's kind of intentional.
Right.
And I realized that I was spreading myself out too thin, but I wasn't really connecting a whole lot with people. And I think that was even the time when you and I weren't hanging out that much. It was because we're so busy with different engagements and different things that you do not leave room for the people that are really important. So, no, I don't have a lot of people. And now that I'm married, it's become an even closer group just because my business has now doubled, you know, with my husband's friends and my friends. So not a lot of people really know. I will say this. I think that people that you surround yourself still need to know that you're vulnerable.
Right.
You know, even my clients, they're usually going through some kind of, you know, they're entrusting you to help buy a house.
Right.
And one of their biggest investments, and there's usually a lot involved in that, whether it's financial, emotional. Sometimes they're divorced, sometimes they're, you know, they're having kids, or their foster kids are being taken from them, not for bad reason, but because it's time for them to go back to their parent. Like, there's so many different reasons why things happen. So I will say I do make myself vulnerable in that sense, and I do let some people in on the amounts of business that I would be okay with anybody knowing.
Yeah.
We are in a public facing role.
Right.
So there always is more of my business than most people would know about, you know, a normal person. Not that I'm not, but it's definitely more public than a regular, like, desk job.
Right,
You know?
because you're trying to, you have to kind of relate to people, you know?
Absolutely.
So, Gloria, when you hear gossip, whether it's in the workplace, could be at the school, anywhere, how do you handle it? A friend calls you and tells you gossip. How do you handle it?
Well, I think the biggest thing is like kind of what we mentioned before. If it's directly affecting them, then I don't perceive it as gossip because it's directly affecting their way of life, their, the way that they see themselves. But if it is something completely separate, which I don't think I really get much of, probably because I don't have a lot of friends.
Yeah, you were saying you keep
Yeah.
your circle small.
Yeah,
Or...
I do. And I keep my circle small because my life is so busy, right? And I think I've come to realize that really good friends take a lot of time. Friendship takes a lot of time. So if you're putting it out there and spending time with a lot of different people, it's going to be hard to really go deep with anyone. But when I do, as far as the gossip part, I don't know. I can't even think of a moment where I felt like it was completely out of line, because usually the stuff that I hear is things that are affecting my friends. I feel like you and I have had some of those moments. But really, I think a lot of the times I play devil's advocate. I do that. I'm very good at playing devil's advocate, because if you're telling me something, I want to see the other side. And it's not that I'm trying to not understand what you're telling me, but I think it's really good as a friend to give the other side of kind of like, well, have you thought about this? Or, like a different perspective. Sometimes when we're in our feelings, we will over dramatize or feel like the world is against us. And sometimes it's just our inner self. It could just be one, that time of the month.
Yes, indeed.
How do you handle it?
I think that when people tell me, if I get the chance to say like, so if you tell me something and then I just change the subject, then it lets the other person know this isn't a place that, like a safe place that I want to hear it. If it does, if I can't, then I'll at least listen, but then I don't go and spread it again. Absolutely. So it stops with me. I don't then get on the phone and call another friend and say like, did you hear someone? It's just, I try to shut it down. If I can't shut it down, I listen, and then it ends with me because I don't like it. I don't like it done to me, so I don't want to do it to somebody else. And I think it's crazy that after high school, middle school, and high school, that in adulthood you still experience mean girl stuff and gossip, and it's like, I don't have time for that. I want to hear about happy, fun things. I want to live like in peace and have a calm mind and think that that phase of life has passed.
I mean, honestly, when you asked me that, I didn't even think about calling somebody else. Like, I didn't even think of not calling it, because it just seems like I don't even have time to call my supervisor to check on my washer. I just realized I never sent him the information for the washer. So, like, that wasn't even a thought in my head. Like, I think as adults, we have so many different things going on that if you have time to do that, I think you need to reevaluate, what am I doing with that extra time? Absolutely. That's a very good point. I think gossip can really hurt people, and not just physically, because people can lose their jobs. They can a lot can happen due to gossip, but also emotionally. Yeah, I'm trying to find this thing that I had heard once at my Bible study group. Yeah.
And it's the THINK. Do you know them? The acronym? Okay, so let me try to find it, because I try to always ask myself, if I'm about to say something, then I ask myself these questions. So let's see if I can find it. If you want to just talk about whatever.
I will talk about whatever. Well, and it does happen. Gossip is inevitable. There's going to be people that, I definitely think that when you work in an environment where you're surrounded by the same people all the time, it's probably a little bit more common for that to happen. You and I are in a little bit different place, and I'm not really surrounded by anybody. If anybody talks about me, it's probably the stuff I put out publicly, because I don't necessarily call anybody. I think you and I have the most contact than anybody else. So
that's how I am. Like, I have a very small circle too, and I, talk about stuff that's pertaining to me.
I don't have even time to talk about my own stuff. You and I run out of time all the time. How do people find time to talk about other people? Yeah.
Okay, so it's the think method. It's think before you speak. And the T stands for, is it true? The H is it helpful? I, is it inspiring? N, is
Yes.
it necessary? And K, is it kind? So
Yeah. And
really
you can't
try
stop
to,
at one, because if it's true.
yeah, you
I
can't go,
didn't.
well, I
It is
check,
actually
but
true.
this one's not, so I can say it.
Yeah.
But it helps you to be like, truly, like, is this worthy of coming out of my mouth?
Yeah. It's
So.
edifying.
Mhm.
And that's what I think, that is one of the things that I love about my husband. And
I thought you were gonna say about me, but
And about you too. I don't know that you and I have ever had a conversation that wasn't uplifting.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I think probably the hardest conversations that you and I have had are being truthful with each other about our situations, because there are going to be those times I want somebody to tell me when I'm wrong, or I want somebody to say, you could have done that better with your daughter, or you could have done that better with your husband. Like, that's the kind of friend I want. If I have lettuce in my teeth, if you have lettuce in your teeth, would you want me to tell you?
yeah, but I get really embarrassed, and so when I see a friend that has something in their tooth, it's a 50-50 if I'm gonna tell you.
You have to tell people. So would you rather them be
Because
embarrassed
I know
with
how
you
embarrassed
or with
it is.
everybody? You know, that's the
I
thing.
know, and it is, but I'm always like, because I feel so bad when I have something in my tooth
Yeah, I
and someone
have.
calls me out, because then you're like, oh gosh, and then, so I don't want to make other people feel like that.
You're taking it too literal. But I want to know when I can do better.
Yeah,
You know,
for
and
sure.
that's the kind of friends that I want. And I don't think we're in a society where that's welcomed anymore. So that's where we fall into the gossip aspect. And, you know, just thinking about that, it's better to be honest and truthful with people you care about
Yeah.
than to talk about them behind their
Yeah,
back.
absolutely. Like, that is exactly it. Like,
I watch TV and I wonder if they have friends
I
all the
know.
time. Like, do you have any friends? Like, just one.
a real friend.
Yeah. Like,
Well, I think that brings us to our
yeah.
end. If anyone has anything to share,
Yeah. What was your worst gossip about?
people are gonna be like, we don't want to know. We literally don't. So don't tell us. But we
just
empathize
kidding.
with you if you've ever been gossiped about. It's
Yeah.
not fun, and let's all try to be better and think before we speak.
Think. Say it again.
I knew you were gonna ask,
Truthful.
so I got it right here this time.
Aspirations.
Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind?
Would you tell me that my tan line looks like a farmer's tan?
I don't. Yes, on that
Would
you got one on this.
Oh,
one.
this is from my driving. This is my driving arm.
Oh. Yes, I wouldn't tell you that.
Would
but
you
if you next
gossip
time
to
you
other
have spinach
people
in your
about
tooth, I'm
this?
gonna tell you. Yeah, I'm gonna call our friends and be like, Gloria has a farmer tan. Could you believe it?
We're gonna have to
No,
edit
I'm
that
just
out.
gonna tell you. You need some you need to just wear a arm sleeve up to here.
Yeah.
And
Well,
let
I
the
was
top
looking
get,
at yours. Yeah. That's.
get tan.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.